Got all right. Hey, all right. What a way to start the show, John. Welcome, everyone, to the Wednesday Night Live show. I got a quick announcement. I'm going to let everybody know that you can now watch the show on Spotify. It will be uploaded about 30 minutes after the show goes. What the hell? Is that an airplane taking off? Or what was that, a helicopter?
Jack Sparrow vaping.
Jack Sparrow. Turn that mic volume down. Yeah. The show will be uploaded to Spotify 30 minutes after this is done being aired. I'll have links to the channel. I had a couple people say, hey, it'd be nice to be able to listen to the show. So here you go. Now you'll be I guess you could do video, but I figured let's just keep the video to you.
Are we competing with Joe Rogan now?
We're competing. There's actually, you'd be surprised. There's a couple pretty good vape podcasts that are on Spotify. If you look around, there's quite a few. And I think Nick is on there now. I think Nick is on there, and a few other people are doing some shows off of Spotify.
So kiss my grits.
Well, son of a bitch. Bless your heart, Tim.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
We're all going to go all country right here. What are we going to talk about today? Boston police, 11-year-old breaks into a store with a hammer to steal some vape cartridges. Vaping, the oral health and update for dental teams. Which that was an interesting read. I think it should have been a little bit more into that one. FDA issues guidance on prescription, and what else is that? I can't even see it. Sorry. Where am I? What's behind Gen Z elf bar obsession? That one got me too, because I went and DM'd a bunch of people that live in the UK that I know are out and about a lot. They're walking their dogs and they're going to clubs and bars and stuff like that. And I got a surprise back. They basically, well, we'll talk about it. They basically said they don't see anybody vaping other than a few people at the park. So it's not like it wasn't as crazy as this article says it is. So I was kind of curious. Shocking. Shocking.
It's funny. I mean, I don't even see it much walking around. It's usually just me.
Yeah. I mean, this whole article was based on nightclub and nightlife in the UK. And how this company Elf Bar and another one, I can't remember what it was called. The other one, I'll have to look at the article. But yeah, they kind of taken over the nightclub because we'll get into that article. Let's go ahead and say hello. Actually, I'll have the links to each one of these articles as they go along during the show. Let's say hello to that hairy man up there on the top right, Mr. Tim Swift.
Hi, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it. I know.
Yeah, we debated.
I know. You guys had a long talk backstage about it, and maybe I'm sitting on top of a trap door right now. If I just vanish out of the frame, then you'll know I got the hook. So
you drew the long straw, Tim. You got the stick.
Yeah. Yes, I did. So
How's the new job?
I'm digging it. I have to admit, though, it was quite overwhelming returning back to my hometown, a place I hadn't been back to in about 7 years since I moved down here. Now, don't get it twisted. I don't exactly hate the place, but it just kind of all hit me like a wall at one time. Yeah. So, when I got into town, I had to run to the grocery store because I didn't take certain things with me because I only had a carry-on, and I didn't want my toothpaste to get confiscated because I don't have the little one. I got like the big fucking one. Anyway, so I'm now working back with a company that has been part of my childhood ever since I can remember, at least since I was 5. Driven by one of the buildings like 80 bajillion gazillion times and never went in. And then on top of that, I'm back working with 2 people that, were instrumental in kind of kicking off my professional career, doing IT and logistics crap. And then to top it off, I go to the Safeway that I had shopped at ever since I was a little kid. I'm coming out of the Safeway back to my car, and as I'm going about 10 steps from the car, I hear Swift, and I turn, and it's a buddy of mine that I've known since 6th grade.
Wow.
In the parking lot, and it was just, and then so I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let's just put the icing on the cake. And I drove by my house that I grew up in since I was 5 years old in Arlington, and it looks exactly the same. And so yeah, it was all pretty crazy. And then I guess maybe the real icing on the cake was this week. The video, one of the 2 videos that I was in, came out, got dropped. So pretty
Let me
excited about
ask
that.
you, because when we talked about this when you were on Facebook, how I got to go in. You didn't get to go in your old house. I got to walk into
No.
my own house. I was going to ask you if you, like, I carved my name on a piece. It was still there, which was kind of cool to see it was still there. So I was just like, I didn't tell them where it was because I didn't want someone to, someday erase it. It was in the closet.
I'm pretty sure that we didn't do that as kids, but I mean, there was probably one door frame that had our height measurements on it, but that thing probably got painted over 25 times since we left. So, whatever.
It's hard.
It's cool to see it, but
I
gotta move on.
I would say the Italian saying, but we'll move on. Paul, how is your week going?
Oh, so far so good. It's
nice.
It's almost weekend time for me.
Yeah,
that's right. You are ahead of us.
Thursday already, so tomorrow's the start of the weekend. But no, and then I've got a project that I need to finish over the weekend. Strip down a cabinet and completely respray it before Monday. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'll get it done somehow.
Somehow, just pay somebody, get it over with.
I don't pay people to do stuff in my garage. Bugger off. That's my garage.
Don't you got some spare pirates laying around that can do the work for you?
Pirates? Fucking straight up pirates. Too much straight up pirates.
Exactly.
Hire matey. With an Australian accent. They're all Johnny Depp. Depp.
Well, he always gets in trouble for bringing his dogs here, so why not? Yeah. I'll hire him if he's around.
Yeah. You done?
Wow. That was dismissive as hell.
I love him.
That was funny, Paul. You done?
And our wonderful Allison. How's your week going, Allie? Can I call you Allie? Can we call you Allie? All right. Yeah. Just making sure.
Yeah, of course. Good. So we found out some information from the FDA. They had changed some requirements for PMTA, and I had to change all of the labels and get a wet signature on this 4075B form and make sure everything was uploaded, because that's what they're now giving RTAs for. So that was fun. Made the labels as ugly as possible. So I'm hoping that
by the time this is all said and done, you're going to be a lawyer or you qualify to work at the FDA.
The next Aaron Brockovich, people, right there.
One of those two.
It's never ending. I'm just like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
She's either going to be a high-paid lawyer in South Carolina or work for the FDA.
With some sick Photoshop skills.
Allie's going back to law school. Simple.
Might as well. Might as well.
Sure. I'll graduate by the time I'm 70. It'd be worth it.
We really need to do a show on that, because I think it would be an interesting show just to have some people in your industry that are going through the PMTAs just to get their idea of how they feel that's going on. It's like they got to feel like am I a lawyer? Am I becoming a lawyer? And am I going to be able to work at some big food company because I know everything there is to know about chemicals and processed foods and all this stuff? I
think I might just need therapy because I'm so paranoid now. I get the document and I'm like, why'd they word it like this? There's like a hidden meaning here. Am I missing something? This is like how I analyze everything now, because I feel like everything's set up for you to fail. So I'm trying to
that trick question on the DMV driving test.
Mm-hmm. The four-way stop one, the tricky four-way stop one.
Yes.
You all four arrive at the same time.
Yep.
Who goes first?
I was so afraid to show my boss the labels because he was like so proud of the synthetic labels and everything. And I was like, do not hate me. But if we get approved, you're going to be kissing all these bottles. So it's fine.
I just can't imagine what they're going through. And then all this information they're having to take in. It's just got to be
aren't
insane.
even getting it, because it's not like they're communicating the information. This is information that you have to find because you're constantly looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because go ahead. Yeah, Paul.
You set up alerts for what the FDA is doing.
Yeah.
Next minute, you get another document, and then you're sitting there scratching your head going,
What's up, Lucas?
how's this going to work? Because how many over labels are you going to put on a bottle, and how big's the label actually going to be when you sell a
Well,
product?
I mean, to be honest with you, we're just going to let the bottles we have labeled filter through and then start
Yeah.
with the new labels because nothing's happened as of yet anyways. I mean, that RTA letter could be in the mail on its way to us, so we don't know. But it's just crazy. Like, oh, we wanted a wet signature on this. Oh, you have to upload it this way. Like not everyone is even aware of these changes. And so it's like, and it's just really dumb stuff. It's nothing that actually makes a difference about anything. And now they're like, oh, we want the bottles this way. Oh, okay. So now you want the bottles this way, which I know my boss didn't want to put the warning on both sides of the label. I told him we're going to need it eventually. Well, now we need it. So, go in and change that and add more crap to it. Like,
or you're using the outdated form. You need to get this form right here. Oh man.
So.
I would love to. I don't know if we could actually get it. I'm sure there's some things maybe they're not allowed to say, but I would love to get somebody that's in the manufacturing end of it to come on and just talk about that whole process. I mean, everything that they're going through. This is honestly really the last 2 years, right? I mean, the last 2 years it's just been. It's
been going on for longer than that, but it seems that it's intensified greatly, and the demand for things is not clear, and then they just denied based on things that they didn't even ask for until after the deadline, and you're just sitting there going, how is this even legal? Like, how can they?
Yeah, I've got to feel sorry for all these people in that industry that have to go home. I feel sorry for their families that have to listen to that conversation. Flavors, Dad, really flavors? Dad?
Yeah. I just feel bad for the people that manufacture hundreds and hundreds of flavors that had to change all of those labels. At least we only submitted, our most popular flavors that we produce, and then everything else we carry is third party.
Maybe we'll get that show going. Maybe we'll get somebody on.
Michael made a point there, just go and change the name of the liquids. Well, guess what? Then another PMTA would have to be submitted.
Which you can't do, right? Which you can't do, right?
No, you had to file it under that exact name.
Yeah.
So the label has to match the name.
Yeah.
So, quick question though, for both of you two down there, because you guys know about this. So you submit that name to that flavor for that line, and then. Can they go, well, that name isn't good enough, you can't use that name? Does that screw up the whole PMTA? Can they just deny the whole?
You can make them, like, they can send you a deficiency letter and say, these are the things we found that's wrong. But typically they don't do that. Typically they just deny everything. They
just deny it. That's what they're doing. So you could be, is it possible to get denied your PMTA because of a name?
They can deny it for any reason. Yeah.
They're looking for stuff that attracts kids. So if it says, hey kids, vape me. That's the name of my juice. I'm sure you probably get an MDO.
No Bugs Bunny.
I want to put a label that says vaping kills, and then when you hit it with a black light, it says smoking.
Yeah. I think Allison's pinned tweet is a line of a vape line that she's going to create. I think one was like stress. I can't remember them all. Debt,
bills, bills. Children.
Yeah.
Car loan, car insurance,
your extended car warranty.
That one, that you have to special order. That one you have to special
surprise vaccine.
Well, let's talk about the 11-year-old boy that breaks into the store at 7. Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
We're gonna say hello to the peanut gallery.
Oh yeah. Say hello to the peanut gallery out there.
Come on, man. Format can't break down the format. Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday Night Live on this your third week of August in 2022. Mallory, good to see you. She popped right in. I don't think I saw Mallory at the top. Liana, good to see you. Michael, great to see you. Nick, there he is. Win the day, Nick. Always
win it.
Win the day. And I believe it's Lucius, not Lucas.
Lucius.
Lucius Long, good to see you. How you been, man? There's that Troll Lab Works again.
Where?
Willie Woodson, welcome to the show from Milwaukee, everybody. Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. That's for the old folks on the show. Laverne and Shirley. Fuck you. What's up, man? Good to see you. I know there's Stu is up there. I saw Stu. Oh, Mallory was here, but she was the first one here.
Thank you.
That's how
Tim.
much I've been paying attention.
Thanks,
Did you like
Tim.
the
Now I
video,
want-
Mallory? Did you like the video? Mallory
Yeah.
actually saw my video.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Thanks, Tim. Now I want Pepsi and milk. Thanks a lot.
I have look here. Here you go. I got half of it right there.
That's cherry though.
Yeah.
You can't do it with
That's
cherry.
okay. Well, I think the other hot thing is peanuts and Coca-Cola, but we'll talk about that another time. Anyway,
That's a TikTok video.
Move on. Welcome to the show, everybody. And John, back to you.
Thank you, Tim. Back to the studios. Boston was talking about the 11-year-old that breaks into the store with a hammer, steals vape cartridges. I don't know if you guys watched the video, but it was pretty hilarious seeing him go to the door, then realize that the cops are coming, and then try to go back into the back part of the store and hide.
How old was this kid?
He was 11.
11.
Years old.
It's a good thing he didn't break into that Asian guy's store.
Yeah, that would have been would have been a whole different.
Yeah.
The one thing I was talking to Allison about, the one thing that I felt funny about the whole video was the fact that I've never seen, and it has to be because of vaping, but I've never seen the interviewer, the news outlet, holding a cell phone and showing walking people the live feed of this situation that was going on. Do you think this would have happened with just a regular standard burglary of some guy just robbing a store? Would he have shown this video?
Well, I think it's
maybe not.
Maybe not. But my feeling is that even if they showed it, regardless of age, race, creed, color, and or otherwise, I don't think that it would have been delivered in the sense that it was what all of us are thinking right here, and that these things are happening because as they inch closer and closer to trying to effectively ban it and drive it to the black market, I think people are more incentivized to want to go try to get it because they may not be able to get it, or they want to be that vape dealer in the back alley. So I don't know. I think they like to focus on the idea that it's just crime in general.
Well,
I think too, it just
go ahead,
proves that flavors are not a driving factor because flavors are banned in Massachusetts. So he must have broken in there to steal tobacco flavored vapes.
That's what looked like he was stealing. He said, quote, I'm quoting the kid here. He went in there because he was hungry and he was in there to steal food, but his whole backpack was full of vape devices. So, and you can see clearly in the video, he went straight to the back counter, went straight over to the thing. To me, number one, as a parent, the first thing in my head is like, how did these parents not know this kid is out and about at 4 a.m? He's 11. 11, dude. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So obviously it was a little bit earlier because he had to break the window. So let's figure 3:30 in the morning. I don't know if it makes a difference if it's 3:30 or 4 in the morning, but number one is 4 o'clock in the morning. Where are the parents? And I don't know if things need to change. Obviously, they had to stress the fact that he's 11 and they can't charge him with anything. That was like the big thing. They can't charge him with anything.
Right.
But why don't they go out? Now, the parents are responsible for the broken window, I'm sure, and whatever else has been damaged to the store. But I think they need to send a message. I mean, I know it sucks punishing an 11-year-old kid for doing this, but I think a message needs to be sent that this puts a stop to this, because otherwise what's going to stop the next 11-year-old kid from doing the same thing? Hey, mom and dad's just going to take the B for it. Insurance will pay for it. I'm going to just go scot-free, maybe have to do some sort of, I guess he's going to do counseling. They're going to give him nicotine counseling because he needs it. So, if he's up, and to me, I don't know, man. To me, I'm thinking like an 11-year-old. I'm thinking I'm not breaking into a store to steal for myself. To me, I feel like this kid's in there doing it to sell, or maybe for someone else older that wanted him to break into it and say, hey, break into the store. If you get caught, nothing's going to happen to you. If you don't get caught, we're going to make a lot of money. Because I don't see an 11. Maybe I'm naive. I don't see 11.
I kind of feel like, well, all right, so let's take the case in point, right? I mean, obviously the kid's parents are not fully engaged in
Clearly,
and keeping him in line from a parental perspective. So if you throw that out, I mean, a lot of kids turn to what they feel is home, and I think that you get a lot of gang activity out of that, and and these gang people are like, we'll just send the young bucks in there because they can do our bidding, and they're not going to get thrown in jail or anything like that. Now, I mean, my experience is once people get busted from gangs, they tend to start talking like a stool pigeon really quick. They don't, street code, schmeat code. I mean, they'll, but maybe that's where it comes from is, these older guys indoctrinate them and say, yeah, we're going to send you out and you can do a few jobs for us or whatever.
Yeah. I was curious if he was part of a crew. That was my first. I thought, hang on a second, 11-year-old kid in the middle of the night, and you went straight for that counter. When I saw the video,
and he probably staked the place out anyway. They probably knew how it operated and where everything was before it even happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like, I mean, I'm thinking like when I was 11, if I needed a cigarette, I didn't break into a store. I knew, hey, Uncle Pino had a pack. I knew Nano John had a pack. I knew my other uncle had a pack. I knew I could go get, I mean, if he, I mean, I don't know how easy it is for him to get a vape device, but I'm not thinking I'm going to go in and clean house like that. I mean, he was just shoving them in his bag. I mean, he didn't care what they were or what brand it was. He was just shoving them in his bag. So to me, that was like the first thing that went through my mind is, okay, he's doing this for somebody else. I think obviously he's not, maybe he's going to get a few out of it himself, but I think he was personally doing it for somebody else. Like Tim's saying, maybe a crew.
Yep.
Again,
would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, I like to. Go ahead.
Okay, here's another question: what's the price of cigarettes though in Massachusetts?
20 double.
Really?
Right? I think it's double.
Okay, how many packs of cigarettes can you throw in a backpack, and how many pods can you throw in a backpack? Think about that. Think about the math.
Yeah, but I think they
don't teach math in Boston though.
Yeah, I think they can turn them quick. In environments where people who can't normally obtain those things, will find, schools are back. Maybe he's the little kid that's in the hallway between classes that shells them out for $10 a pop. To their buddies.
Yeah. Here's a quote from one of the bystanders. The kid obviously too young to be doing something, let alone illegal, but also vaping. Said South Boston resident Michael Sylvania. I hope he's not addicted to vaping, but I know but I know that it's getting younger and younger. He says. See, that's what
he thinks it's an addiction that's driving him to do.
Yeah, and had nothing to do with profit or money or good old capitalism. No, I'm sorry. It was just I found it funny because I do watch a lot of news and I always watch some clips and stuff on there, but I've never seen them go that far where they're actually they'll usually ask someone that was there that's seen what took place. They never go out and look for people to look at a video like that and then of course, to point out he's 11. Oh, it's vaping. Oh my God. I just found the whole video to be just like, it was so planned out. Like it was just sketched out.
Maybe it was an anti-group that set it all up. Maybe it was a complete stage and he was a plant and they're trying to make a further case for the fact that see what this evil vaping does. It turns 11-year-olds into little bank
monsters.
You just joined the conspiracy theory.
I got my tinfoil hat, Tim.
Yep. Put that on your Twitter.
Put that on your Twitter. Hashtag. No, I don't even want to go there. Pave sent him.
Exactly, Paul. Pave sent him.
We got a job for you tonight. Yeah. Well, I got to be in bed by 5, so.
Yeah. I got to get up for school in an hour, so can we do this now?
Yeah. I gotta go to school. No, I gotta go to school in the morning. Yeah, I just found the whole video funny. I thought it was funny when he was trying to burst out for the door and he noticed the cops were coming. He did that kid slide, which made me laugh. Every little kid does that. Slides, turns around, tries to head back to the back. It was a total 11-year-old slide. He's like, whoa, okay, cop. Oh, poor bastard. What is the next article, you guys? Remember?
I'd have
What
to go
day is
back to
it?
the list.
No, this one's yours. Go ahead, Allie. The vaping on and oral health, an update for dental teams. Very good article too. I got to
I
read
gotta
it.
find it. Hang on. Oh no, I lost it.
I liked it. I think it touched on both sides of it. You know, I think it was a pretty good article. It was pretty good. It was very well written. Is that what I need to say, Tim?
Yes, it was well written.
There you go. I accepted their cookies just now, so
it's not one of those articles about the slime in your mouth.
No, they took both
No,
both. Yeah, they kind of took
there
both.
was a negative article first.
Yeah.
And so this kind of was setting the record straight, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
It says, as headlines concerning e-cigarettes continue to dominate the news, Dr. Richard Holliday and Professor Elaine McCall talk through the impact of vaping on the oral health of patients. They talk about how there's been a flurry of media stories about vaping and oral health, and some have even made national newspapers. These articles have several claims saying that your gums are falling off, teeth are dropping out. Some have even implied that it's better to go back to tobacco smoking. So they go through the clinical context of vaping, saying that a fundamental point to make is that there are two quite different clinical situations that we need to consider. The first is an individual who smokes tobacco and is using e-cigarettes to cut down or quit, or someone who's recently quit smoking and using an e-cigarette. The evidence is relatively strong for e-cigarettes as a smoking cessation ad. They quote the Cochrane review. They're saying that it's effective, better than nicotine replacement therapy. So they're just citing all the Royal College of Physicians statements here, and then they're focusing on the oral health. What are the implications of e-cigarette use? Introducing any substance into the oral cavity on a regular basis will have effects on this complex environment, whether these are negative or positive, or will lead to disease development or progression. It will take years of research, and they'll never really know.
Yeah.
The situation, smokers, ex-smokers have a disease-rich starting position. Tobacco smoke contains almost uniquely toxic cocktail of chemicals, which cause an array of general and oral health issues. Quitting smoking will lead to major improvements in oral health and reduce the risk of development diseases or progressions of oral cancers. So they're basically saying for those with periodontitis, am I saying this right?
I hate that word.
Periodontitis.
I hate that word.
We know that their response to periodontal therapy is improved. E-cigarette aerosol does not contain tar, carbon monoxide, or high doses of carcinogens. Sometimes low doses of carcinogens have been identified.
So they say.
Right. Any negative oral health impacts from e-cigarettes use are likely to be small and of relatively minor consequence to the substantial beneficial oral health changes from stopping smoking. This is supported by several clinical trials, and these have followed smokers as they quit smoking with the use of an e-cigarette. These studies all see an improvement in oral health. So basically what they're saying is it's better for you. It's not going to make your teeth or your gums fall out.
Yeah.
And that they are obviously like saying like, this is obviously ridiculous to consider that it could be worse. I think that is the main. And then their conclusion is, in the summary, e-cigarettes have good evidence to support them as an effective smoking cessation aid for tobacco smokers. Smokers can expect to see substantial improvements in their oral health if they fully switch to an e-cigarette.
You're bad, Paul. Yeah, I mean, what was I going to say? Paul made me laugh reading his statement there. I mean, a lot of it too comes down to just poor dental hygiene. I mean, smokers. What I've noticed is a lot of smokers are not very good with their teeth. I don't know. Something I kind of noticed where they're not constantly brushing their teeth. They're not taking care. They're not flossing. They're not rinsing. They're not doing all that nonsense. So, I mean, it just didn't. To me, I mean, most of us have had. I'm sure all of us that have smoked have had. I'm not going to even try to say that word because I hate it. I think we've all been diagnosed with it. If you've been a smoker for more than 20 years, you've been diagnosed with that. Have you, Tim?
I've never even had a cavity.
You never had a cavity? See, you're a
Nope.
good one. You never been diagnosed with that, Tim? When your gums start to fall down?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they'll say like, you
I'm
got
not
early
saying
sign.
you have bad dental hygiene. I'm just saying we all.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get. I mean, I don't go into the specifics with the dentist. I mean, maybe the form, you can be, truthful and market as such. But I'm pretty sure, when they were looking at mine, some of that was related to saying that you're showing some early signs of gum disease and things of that nature, and then I'd have to get these special mouthwash and things of that nature. So. But I just remember an article that I did a story on a long time ago about some study that was done regarding vaping and oral health, and they were saying that that people who vaped, due to the concentration of the VG, the PG, and the sweeteners and all that stuff that you were taking into your mouth, that it was causing the mouth to hyper react to that and cause this what they called slime.
Yeah, that slime.
That was like, coating your mouth to try to kind of attack and fend off, the bacteria that was being introduced into the mouth. So, but I never felt like, that was going on. I mean, I think we've all had vapor's tongue, dumb stuff like that. And then we tell people to hydrate anyway, because if anything, it dehydrates you more than anything. It's not like I have this overly watery mouth or feel like I have cotton mouth because of vaping. So, yeah, I mean, I do remember that the dentist would be like, yeah, look like you got, 30 years old. You got the teeth of a 50-year-old, All right, well,
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah, thanks, Doc. Thanks for that vote of confidence.
Yeah, help pay your copay and leave.
Yeah.
No, I mean, even like I've never really kind of noticed it, like, because I remember your article, Tim, and I was just like, oh, dude, did I notice that I don't even know what to call it, slime? I didn't feel like I ever had that on my gums or my teeth, from vaping ever. And back in the days, the only thing we ever dealt with was kind of like vapor tongue. But I talking about vapor tongue, but it was funny, all the remedies. Remember all the remedies? Oh, open up a can of coffee and smell the coffee. Yeah, eat a pickle. I mean, there was so many home remedies. Yeah, eat a pickle, open up a can of coffee and take a good whiff of coffee. There's so many different remedies, and basically it was just drink some water and maybe change flavors. That was it.
Well, and like Mallory pointed out, the original article did say that they were blaming PG, VG, and flavors and sugar, and all of that stuff is in your toothpaste. Yeah. So, and like they used to put the PG in like the air systems in hospitals to kill bacteria back in the day?
No, PG is still used in operating theaters, actually. Okay. It's pumped through as an antibacterial, but no, what I just said, going back a few years, the early tank crackers or the citrus liquids, they used to do a little bit of damage to your teeth, but not these days. No.
Right.
You go back 5 years, yeah, sure, but now, no way. Near impossible. But it's strange. The sweeteners that we use in vaping products, they're all synthetic to start with. Now, have people got problems like using these in their tea, coffee, whatever else, or in their food? No, not that I've seen so far.
Well, they always use that excuse, though. It's different because we're inhaling it. We're vaping it as a vapor. It's not a liquid form. It's not in our, like we would have the sweeteners in our. They always use that one. They always bring that one up. Oh, it's different. Well, then do the study. Yeah. Don't just guess. Get some people together. I don't know, fucking 500, 600 people together that vape and do a test. Don't just throw out maybes. That's what I can't stand, is there just seems to be a lot of maybes in all these paved FDA. I mean, FDA that's a huge organization. They have scientists and doctors. Stop throwing out maybes. Go do the damn research. I mean, it's been around for 10 years. If you were so concerned with vaping, why didn't you start some sort of study 10 years ago?
I mean, it's
And
been around longer than 10 years,
well,
but the
yeah,
problem is that the science and the findings that they'll get don't support the narrative that they're
yeah,
pushing.
right. And we're tired of them. I have to do it. We're tired of them hurting this poor little guy. Stop
Yeah.
giving this guy vapor. He doesn't want any more vapor. Leave him alone.
No, I agree.
I agree. Leave the poor mouse alone, dude. And poor guys who got to walk around. And all the other mice are going, "You smell like strawberry." Here comes that strawberry mouse. We're not going to talk to him anymore.
I found that article. It
Dude.
was from. It's not actually dated. It just says vaping is touted as a safer alternative to smoking, but e-cigarettes are not devoid of health effects. The title of this article was "Vaping Coats the Mouth in a Slime Cloak."
Yeah,
that was the name of it. And it just said, and it just says it doesn't take long for it to develop.
Timmy's having technical issues out
Importantly,
there in Georgia.
these
There's
changes have
probably a storm there. There's probably a storm out there. Tim is out.
College of Dentistry. Well, you were talking, so I couldn't. I didn't know.
No, you're cutting in and out.
Was I frozen?
Yeah, you cut out.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Okay. Well, I think it's because the article's loading.
Okay.
It just says a study published in May of whenever this was written that in May found e-cigarette use led to the development of a slimy film in the mouths of vapors formed by the microbes freaking out in response to the vapors.
Yeah.
But I don't recall it ever happening to me specifically.
I don't. I thought about that one for a while when we did that article before, and I've never felt like that. Even when I wake up in the morning, I thought maybe, okay, let me see what it feels like in the morning when I wake up in the morning, and I just got bad breath. That's it. That's common.
Who doesn't?
I eat a lot of garlic. What can I say? So, the FDA issues guidance. Oh, that's your article. There you go. You ready for that one, Allison?
Me? Oh yeah.
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 Paul doesn't give me any articles, or else I would throw in some Australian articles.
So the FDA issues guidance on perception intention studies. So 2 years later, I know we've all talked about this on Twitter recently. So 2 years later, after your regular nicotine PMTAs were due, and now that your synthetic has also been due for a few months, now you get how to do the study. They issued a final guidance. This is a final guidance, though, guys. I think
sure it is. Sure it is.
This is like the KISS tour. The final tour. It's the final tour.
Hold on.
Final
Pick
tour.
up the goalpost and move them another 10 yards back, and let's move them to the left a little bit this time.
Yeah.
So basically, this is telling us how to conduct the tobacco product perception and intention studies, and it's to help applicants whose applications were due 2 years ago, design and conduct tobacco product perception TPPI studies that may be submitted as part of a modified risk tobacco product MRTP application or PMTA or a substantial equivalence report. They are used to assess, among other things, individuals' perceptions of tobacco products, understanding of tobacco product information, labeling, modified risk information, and the intentions to use tobacco products according to the FDA. These studies provide critical information during the review of product applications, and the guidance provides recommendations on how to perform these studies. Developing study aims and hypotheses, designing quantitative and qualitative.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Selecting and adapting measures of study.
Oh my God.
I got you.
Determining study outcomes, selecting and justifying study samples, and analyzing study results. The guidance document is intended to provide clarity to applicants regarding existing requirements under the law, according to the FDA. So, and that is the end of that.
Yeah. Can you explain any of those to someone outside of the?
Yeah. No, this is something you pay somebody else to do. This is like.
Okay. Paul, maybe Dr. Paul.
I'm actually very curious about this because PMTA was specifically put together for traditional nicotine products.
Just for the PMTAs, yeah.
Right. For the PMTA. Synthetic rolls up to the table. Now, does synthetic fall under the same category as a modified risk product?
Yeah, now that they changed the law.
And this is but this is the question that I have now.
Yeah.
And I've asked a few people, and they said you might be onto something, because if synthetic then falls under modified risk, that would then fall under pharma under some certain categories, depending on how that nicotine was formed, or it was either the dilution, the chemistry of it. It could fall under two different parts here. So how does synthetic nicotine fall under the traditional PMTA process, or does it fall under the modified risk, which would then put it in the same category as inhalers, gums, sprays, and modified risk would then also bring it under heat not burn, wouldn't it? Or am I misinterpreting everything?
Yeah, but I mean, who's to say they don't just see it as all under one umbrella?
I think it's just a blanket statement for people that have to file those three different. It's just it encompasses those three different things. I mean, I don't.
So basically, this is all about the label, correct?
No,
it's
this
the
is something
actual.
else. They didn't actually put out a statement about the label. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, this is something they actually put out.
This is manufacturing. This is the modified risk.
These are some of the studies you have to make it through, like scientific review and all that.
Okay.
But the really interesting part about this is that one of these studies wasn't even invented until
they did
until the vaping industry came along.
Yeah.
But the problem with part of it is it cannot be replicated time and time again in a laboratory. That is the key. That's the key factor to it. Yet these guys say, "Oh, we're all about the science." That's why I'm asking: does the FDA really have a science department there anymore?
Did the FDA even read applications that were submitted in the first place at all?
No,
now they want extra information to not read.
Here you go, Paul. I'm going to give you. It says you can submit an online written comment or guidance at any time to the 21 CFR 10-115:G:5.
Unbelievable.
It will go right to our trash pile.
It goes to the docket management at the Food and Drug Administration.
Well, first round of PMTAs, I lost out with some of the liquids that I still had in the market in the US. And then we've resubmitted with other things, but this is all cloak and dagger with these guys. 1 minute you're up to speed with it, and then now they're adding modified risk into the original PMTA. That was never there before.
There you go,
2 years. And 2 years. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to add any more. I'm not going to add any more documents to their server. Forget it. I'm done with those idiots. It's hard enough navigating all the other countries, and then the FDA does this 2 years after. Come on.
Me, Tim, and Allison double dog dare you.
Let's call now. No, they're not open.
I can do that. No, they're not open right now, or else I would, because I could put them on speakerphone.
Hell
that would be hilarious. Well, you know what, John? Since you're that kind of guy.
They can keep lumping on and layering whatever requirements they want to this entire process, even if they want to say these are the studies.
The bill. Something's playing back there.
So we're all in agreement, right? Everybody, just be creative.
Somebody's watching YouTube.
There you go. No, there you go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
I was going to say they can pile on any requirement they want to. Now it just looks a little bit more scientifically validated, because they're going to compare their scientific results to your scientific results and all that other stuff. I think the problem in the entire process is that they can make it as fancy as they want it to sound, but if they issue a denial order, I mean, there's no way for anyone to ever find out what their results were by way of comparison to your results, right? They're just basically looking at it going, well, you're supposed to prove these points. And well,
Right.
objectively or subjectively, we're just saying, no, it's, it's this doesn't measure up. Maybe they've got a little stack of papers from these bunk studies that, make all these egregious claims against vaping, or some statistics sheet. But there's no way to really refute it. They don't go, okay, well, here's the test grade sheet. This is the number and the statistic you were supposed to hit based on your study and the metric we're using,
Right.
and you didn't hit that marker. So therefore, that's why we denied you. They never.
Well,
they're not. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was going to say they don't really divulge what the failure was. I mean, they'll just. It's like getting a violation on Facebook, and then they like I've been banned from advertising, and you don't have a reason. So you finally get through to these yucca pucks that run the help desk at Facebook to try to file an appeal, and you go, well, just tell me specifically what it was that I did, because I can assure you I didn't really try to do that. And if you tell me what I did wrong, then I'll understand, and I won't do it again the next time. And they go, well, we can't really tell you exactly what it was that you did wrong. It could have been any one of these 150 things that you violated. And I feel like that's what you're getting right here, is that somebody's going to get an MDO and go, man, we dumped all this money into all these studies that proved these markers, and then they just say no. Well, which one didn't measure up? Well, we can't really tell you. You just didn't meet this marker.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and even if you get an approval, though, then you have to maintain that approval. So then they can add anything they want, and you just have to amend it. So at any given moment, if you get an approval, then you're going to have to do more. And they can just spring it on you like this, and then you just have to add it to that submission, and then hope that gets approved so you can stay on the market.
Right.
That's right, Nick.
But the other really cool part about this now is we're in 2022, and they're now saying the lineup for the original PMTA list, okay, when they're going to start getting to people, is 2025. And when I saw that lineup, I thought, how big is this queue?
Yeah.
Well, that's why they're RTAing everything that doesn't have this stupid form right now, because that's how they clear shit out.
Oh, what? Are we house cleaning again? No, it's got to cease, because we're all in the lineup. We get one tiny little thing wrong on a form, and the little robot says, "You cannot do this."
Yeah.
No, it
that was with the old form, with the not having that checkbox, the new checkbox.
The wet signature.
I still don't understand what a wet signature is yet. But
you spit on it. You spit on it after you're done.
It's not a
The
digital.
ink still has to be wet on delivery.
yeah.
You got to use
He has
a
to be in the
paint pen.
pool. He has to be in the pool when he signs it.
I thought it was
walking up to drop it off.
I thought it was something kinky at first when I saw wet signature. I thought, what?
You see the guy at the FDA going, "It's so wet." I guess that's wet. I've never heard that term before. I never heard that term. Here you go. I'm going to go ahead and do this for shits and giggles.
Leave a message.
For general tobacco questions, e-cigarettes, or ENDS Vapes products, press 1.
Okay.
TRLM NG Help Desk, press 2. Thank you for calling the Center for Tobacco Products at the Food and Drug Administration. Our office is currently closed.
Son of a
Normal
bitch.
hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, excluding federal holidays. You can find more information on our website
Of course
at
you can.
www.fda.gov. If you would like to have a representative contact you, please leave your name, phone number, and a brief
My
description
name is
of your
Paul.
question.
No.
As of December 20th, 2019, the federal minimum age for purchasing tobacco products
Oh,
has
Jesus.
changed from 18 to 21. Retailers must not sell tobacco products to anyone under the age of 21, effective immediately.
Immediately.
You're
That
going to get
sounded,
better.
that sounded stern. That sounded like my dad right there. Look at Tim looking through.
Useless bunch of yucca pucks.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, that's government work for you, Mallory.
Yeah.
They're all like E15s and make a really nice salary, and all they do is just issue MDOs all day.
And don't forget about that sweet fucking pension. That sweet, sweet pension.
Nick, no way, Nick. That's just
There's a
wrong.
lot of opportunities though. You can just leave the FDA and go to Philippines.
Well, there's got to be someone there that's 24/7. There have to have a 24/7 phone number there. Well, I mean, not maybe for tobacco, but for other like maybe emergency situation. I don't know. Maybe not.
That's the robot. The robot's there 24/7.
No, they tell you to dial 911.
Yeah,
that's what they do. Because I know the CDC has a 24-hour phone number. I know they are.
That's
different. That's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different. I'll give them the slide. You ready for your next one there, Allie? What is the next one? The next one, oh, this is the Gen Z one. So
you don't want to do this one? This is your favorite. Okay.
Yeah, now okay. Now this one, when I read this article, I immediately thought of several friends of mine that I have that actually live in the UK. And some of them range from the ages of 20 all the way to almost 50, 55, 60 years old. There's still people that go out to nightclubs. There's still people that walk around in their parks and do all this stuff. And I asked them, I said, have you seen a difference? Is there been more people in your day-to-day life that you have noticed vaping these disposables? Or you know how vapors are. We need to tell somebody that it's strawberry. We need to tell, and the one that, I don't want to say her name, but she said she doesn't run into it at all. She sees it every now and then at the park. Her and her husband constantly go out still because her husband is in a band. So he still does nightclub scenes and stuff like that. And she goes to most of them, and she doesn't notice any difference in vaping and stuff like that. So I don't know. The article, do you want me to pull it up? Let me put it up on the screen.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Well, first, I love how they start this off.
Yeah.
Despite e-cigarettes being deeply uncool just a few years ago, young people are flocking to the brightly colored disposable vapes known as elf bars.
Yeah.
Blamire got lost in a puff of flavored smoke to investigate how we got here. I don't know how she wrote the article if she got lost in the puff of.
She got lost. She was lost in the strawberry clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought to me too. I thought it was funny that they brought up TikTok, and then they brought up that there was, she even said I had another person I asked that's in her 30s, and she said the same thing. She goes, drinks. I haven't seen these drinks. What are they talking about? Because they're talking about how some clubs are actually mixing these drinks for people in the bars to go with their vape. Yeah. So I thought that was, and I've never seen any of that. She goes, there is smoking areas. Maybe now she's a little bit in a different area. Maybe it's a little different in London. Maybe that's where it's centralized. Maybe in London, this article. But I had no clue that they were even allowed to vape in bars and restaurants in London. I thought they were like we were here, where it wasn't allowed. But I guess you can.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know that. But I mean, it's so much more widely accepted, vaping as a whole. So I don't see why it would be an issue.
Well, especially in England, where they practically endorse it. So
right.
They probably. I mean, at least my experience in the U.S. was, for a while, and there's still a few here in Georgia, not many, but, it's a proprietor's choice, right? You can elect to say that you can have there's smoking in this bar if the proprietor agrees to allow it to go on. Most don't, vast majority, but I mean, in England, it might come down to that, and they might say if you're going to smoke, you got to go outside, but we'll allow vaping inside. Right. And even when I'm in places where vaping isn't allowed inside, people are doing it, and no bouncers running over or security person's running over, removing some. I mean, we're watching shows, and a big plume of vapor goes up in the middle of the set, you know, and everybody knows you're not supposed to, but they don't go grab that guy out of the crowd and say, "Nah, dude, you need to go outside if you're going to do that." So they may be just more tolerant over there.
Yeah, they talked about, I guess, some TikTokers. What was that? They were DIY and Elf Bar holders for reviewing each of the brand's 28 flavors. I've never seen that on TikTok. Have you guys seen that on TikTok?
No, but I mean, that's not much different than people making those customized little vape organizers and stuff like that. I mean, accessorize your stuff, you know?
Yeah, I just saw a video the other day on TikTok where the guy DIY'd a special cup holder for some dude, I guess, that goes around I don't know where this guy gets money, but he actually goes around the world handing people cups of coffee, specific people. I don't know if you ever seen that video of him. He's on TikTok, and he's always carrying the cup, and he's holding the cup like this, and he's walking up to these famous people, and it's always a Starbucks cup, and he always hands these famous people cups of coffee. It's on TikTok. I can't remember the guy's name. So this guy DIY'd him this thing that holds his fucking phone and the cup of coffee a certain distance, so the cup of coffee still's in the shot. And I was like, okay, I guess they are DIYing stuff for the Elf Bar. I don't know this brand. Do you guys? I mean, Paul maybe knows this brand. Do you know this brand, Paul, at all? What is Elf Bar?
Yeah, I mean, Elf Bar is the most popular disposable that we sell.
Oh, okay. Yes, I've never seen it.
They did file PMTA, and they do have like a scratch code to show. You can go on the website to see if it's, you know, legitimate or not. But I mean, it's just another disposable vape. It's just the flavors are extremely good. Every single one of the flavors that we've tried, and we carry a lot of them now, they sell like crazy because the flavors, they taste good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just another, I think just like what we were talking about last week with Puff Bar, it's just a name. I think that people don't even really know what it is. It's just they've associated this one name to something, so now it's everything. And there are a lot of devices out there that look just like an Elf Bar. They look identical, but they're not Elf Bar. So it's just the kind of the way that it's kind of similar to this, but it's got
is it the square? Is it a square mod? Is a square mod?
Yeah, it's just a square disposable. Yeah, they're 5,000 puffs. You can recharge them, so you know they last a lot longer. But they've grown a lot because that's
what it says here.
Yeah.
It says with around 450% increase in the last 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We have a limit with one of our distributors of how many we're allowed to order at a time. So a lot of the time when we receive orders into the warehouse, the purchasing manager would have put in like 8 separate orders from this one retailer because she's got to order it this many times because she can't put more than this amount in her cart at a time because that's how popular they are.
Well, let me ask you guys, do you think this article is written to kind of to prove their point about Gen Z and about the newer vapor? Because the Gen Z is what age? That's between 16 and what is it? I don't even know anymore.
Well, now they're saying 30, right? I think 30 now.
It's Gen Z 30? I don't know where Gen Z falls into. Gen Z.
I don't know.
Gen Z defined as born from 1996 to 2012.
2012.
So I'm X.
I think it's just me too.
Yeah,
but I think
X.
they're trying to. I think it's just, first of all, the UK has a cap anyways on nicotine.
Right.
Elf Bar makes a 30 and a 50 milligram. I'm not sure. They might make something lower for that market.
Yeah, they said they're 20 milligram nicotine salt liquids. Yeah, they're in the UK, so I don't think you can get them any higher than 20 there.
Okay.
No, you can't. Well, no, 20 milligrams the cap over there. Over there, but now they're talking the same type of situation in the US with 20, 30, 50, and that's it. That's as high as you can go. But I remember seeing Elf Bar a while back, and I thought, interesting. What are you all about?
16, 20, and 30. Wow, that's a big gap for one generation. Yeah, because they got here. It says Elf Bar 600. Yeah, like you said, there were 600 puffs, pre-filled, 20 milligram nic salts, infused with flavored e-liquid that lasts around 600 puffs. They start. They're that cheap there?
Yeah,
$4.95
yeah,
on.
pounds.
Well, that's
Which is,
600 puffs, though. I mean, the ones we sell are 5,000. I've never seen a 600 puff elf bar, but they make a lot of product. We just
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
likes the
They do.
long battery life.
Yeah,
So they're like
the little
four
tiny,
ninety.
the little tiny ones.
What is that? I don't even know what the conversion ratio is. That's pounds, right? Isn't it pounds in
Yeah,
Europe?
yeah, 495 pounds to US. Let's see what the story is. Wonder
And
what
then it's 20 for a pack of cigarettes for Benson and Hedges, more than double the price that arrives with 24 milligrams of nicotine per pack.
So that's a good thing. I feel like they should be
Yeah.
celebrating that. That's harm reduction at a quarter of the price.
What is it?
US
It's got to be like
dollars.
$7. I don't even know. I've never done pounds. I never done the conversion ratio for a pounds.
It's where is it? US. In Australian, it works out at $8.43 per little puff bar, or per elf bar. You know,
Well, one of the things I like too, while he's doing that, it was when I was reading the article, is even them talking about how these people need to switch. They need to switch to an open system. I thought that was cool that they added that into the article and suggesting that they need to move to that, not just for environmental reasons, but a cheaper cost effect, for them to continue.
The UK is not very keen on disposables.
Yeah.
No. US dollars is $5.85.
That's cheap.
That is really cheap.
That is cheap. That's all. We're all going to the UK. Live from London is the Wednesday Night Live
big
show.
ones that I'm looking at. I mean, I'm looking at a couple different models that are effectively almost the same thing. That's about a 13 mil capacity.
That's it's the 5,000 or the 3,000. I know they make a BC 300 and a BC 500. One's 5,000 or 5,000. One's 3,000.
Yeah, I've seen two kinds that are actually a BC 5,000. They got the ones that are kind of like uniform color wise from the top to the bottom, and then they have these other ones
the gradient.
Look more. Yeah, they're a little bit more pro looking.
Yeah, you're right too. I forgot about that part. They even talked about what's the name doing that little parody on YouTube with vaping, where he was going around England, or no, he was going around New York making fun of people that were vaping and how it was, it was funny, and now it's become popular. Yeah, there he is. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
I knew I had one here somewhere.
Yeah. I've never seen. I don't know. Was that the one that I took a picture of the other day? My son had. That's that. Oh, okay. Then I have seen one. Okay, that's what it is.
I thought we weren't talking about it, so I just let it go.
I couldn't remember the name of it, but I knew it was squared like that. So I didn't know. I didn't know if they had it, if it was a round device or a square device. But shit, I mean, 600 puffs. Shit, I'm trying to think what that would get me. That would probably get me 3 days.
The 5,000 lasts a couple of days before I have to charge it. That's the whole thing, though. It gets.
Oh, you got to charge it.
Yeah, it gets. Well, it gets weak as the battery dies.
Anything else you guys want to touch on this?
No.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's, I just really, maybe I'm just not paying attention, but I don't see, I mean, I don't see people with disposables in their hands, at least around me. Most people have got mod and tank or mod and atomizer. So,
well, I was always told that, like, every time I bring that up, someone always tells me, well, that's because you pretty much stay within your inner circle. You're not really paying attention to anybody outside of your circle. But I walk around. I go everywhere. I don't see anyone. Honestly, I don't see anyone vaping any disposable. I see every now and then. I was shocked. I actually saw someone that was in their mid-20s with an actual mod in their hand the other day, which really surprised the hell out of me. And I thought that was great. And they had an Aspire tank on a Geek Vape device. And I was like, oh, cool. All right, good. I'm glad not to see, a closed disposable system in their hand. So anything. Oh, it is the Beast Gamer saying here.
they
I was
consider
just
that
trying to
one
find the
closed.
price on them.
Are they
$100.
really? Oh, or
They're
No,
considered.
they're
They're
closed.
close.
they're
closed
closed.
pod.
That would be a
You just throw 'em
closed
out.
pod system. Yeah, and they even
But
talked about other devices, which I thought was pretty cool that they brought up. Trying instead of trying to get away from the Elf bar that had actually had more puffs and actually a longer battery life. And then, of course, like I said, they did talk about actually trying to get these people to move into an open pod system, an open system, to where they could actually see the cost difference.
Well, the other one that they've noted there is the Aspire POC X,
Yes.
which is that's a really good device. But from memory, yeah, that's refillable. But
well, I think that's the suggestion they were saying to switch to that.
Switch to that. Yeah, the switch to that.
And then
is there regulations there, Paul? I mean, I know that they have nicotine caps, but there's no puff counts there, right? I mean, can you buy something with 1,600 or what Allison has in her hand there, 3,000 puffs or?
That's what they're trying to get to the bottom to, because under TPD, it's still a 2 mil limit on what the tank can hold, right?
That's probably why they're primarily using that 600 puff device, because
that makes
that'd be around
that.
Yeah, that'd be around 2 mils. But
I forgot about that. That's right. It has to be 2 mil. So even in the disposable, it can't be more than 2 mil.
Yeah, because this one's 13. This one has 13 mils.
Yeah. But the biggest problem there now in the UK is that they've got other manufacturers out of China that are sending over 50 meg devices, and they're flooding the market. And this is why they're asking now, well, let's remove the 2 mil capacity for people with open systems, and let's look at the 50 milligram for people coming off smoking, but not openly available. That's what they'd like to see. I hope they do go down that pathway. But
they even talk about the Anakin EQ. I've never seen that device. Yeah.
And then who was it the other day? I think, don't get me wrong, I think it's Geek Vape that's actually released the first 18650 disposable to the market. I saw something about that the other day. I think Matt Cully had one. He was messing around with it. I thought,
yeah, you're right. You're right. I did see that, yeah.
And an 18650 disposable, I went, oh, hello.
Well, Anakin is fucking creative. They actually came out with 100% biodegradable filter tip on their e-cigarette product. They're not messing around over there.
No,
they're covering all their bases.
They are. They're not. That is a company that has just been one of those that I started with, and I just every year they just seem to me okay. Like when they added the flashlight, I was like, why didn't anybody ever do that before? That makes so much fucking sense to have that goddamn flashlight on your mod. And there it is. Anakin brings us the flashlight. And the battery backup pack. That thing was amazing. I love that. The MVP 20.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was great.
You can actually charge stuff. I could plug my phone in and charge it. Like people are like, what?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that thing has saved me from zero battery life on my cell phone. I just like, okay, I can do this. And bam, I was good to go. Yeah.
But Anakin were always ahead of the curve. Even with, I think it was called the Disruptor, and it was a slide-on battery system. And there was the actual where you tank screwed onto, but the battery actually slid off, so you could put another battery.
I remember that.
That was genius. That was way ahead of its time. And if it was released now, again, with an upgraded chip or a 21700 cell, slide on and off. Hello.
Yeah. Smart. My nephew told me that MVP 20 is still in use. It doesn't last very long anymore, but it's still going strong, man. I was like, really? You didn't throw that thing away?
Yeah, I guess for me, that's the thing that's so strange to me, is that people are willing to run to things that effectively are waste in your hand, right? I mean, I'm not trying to put down any particular device that works for any particular person or tell somebody, you shouldn't buy that because, it doesn't make sense, and it's outside of their budget hands, as a lot of people talk about. But it just seems like we were kind of a resourceful market, right? Meaning that it was a mod and a tank with a removable battery, and then you just have the generic argument about whether it's safer to charge the battery in the device or not.
Yeah.
But it seems like we've transitioned to more devices that are just throwaways, right? So whether it's a disposable, and that's a popular market now because that's, and I'm not turning into green
John.
planet guy. I'm not talking. This isn't my global warming soapbox or anything like that. But I'm just saying, it just, to me, it seems so much more common sense to be able to cycle your device and keep it around forever, like an MVP 2, whatever, MVP 20. When you could just charge it. If your batteries got shit, you just bought new batteries and you kept on trucking. And now it's like we're throwing batteries away and tons of plastic and all this out of convenience, which fine. People want convenience, and that it's a great product, and it is what it is. But it's just strange to me that people will run and buy like some massive looking mod that's got a built-in battery, and it might last them a couple years. But I'm like, but what? Why would you do that?
Well, the sad thing, the sad thing is even if we had a program, people still don't fucking use it. I walk past that bin all the time at Best Buy, and it's fucking empty. It's literally empty, and I know there's batteries out there floating around that people have just, do I really want to go to Best Buy and dump these off, or do I really want to drop these off at Home Depot? Both of those bins are completely empty every time I've walked by them. So it's just like, we're just, I don't know. We're just bad people, man. I guess.
Well,
I don't know how to put it, not to offend anybody, but it's just like, are you going to go out of your way to take your 5 disposable pens to Best Buy? I don't even know if they would take them there and dump them in that. But they're lithium iron batteries, aren't they?
No, but you've
got the other chemicals.
Well, you've got nicotine. No, you've got nicotine in there for a start.
You can get that guy in the back room at Best Buy trying to hit each one, try to get a last hit out of each one of them.
And he's the one that's always out on COVID, right?
He's always out on COVID.
Well, that's a bit.
Had COVID that's for the 35th time now.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit janky to start with, but that's the problem. If the vape shops that have big networks in the US that are selling the disposables, they should have a recycling program in play.
Yeah, there should be.
And there still are a few big groups, right? I know that for a fact. If they could start going down that pathway, sure. As for other battery packs that we use in society, meaning battery packs from like drills and power tools and stuff like that, we can recycle those cells, because the original ones were 18650, then they went to 21700s. Now they've gone to the new system, which is a stacked system, it's got like 5 cell phone batteries in it, which is completely different, but it's still all the same technology.
Well, let's take it even further. I think the manufacturer should offer some sort of buyback program. I think if you add that incentive for the shop to actually collect those batteries. I mean, it's to their benefit as well as the manufacturer. It makes them look good to everyone out there that's worried about the environment. And the shops are going to get a little bit back for actually having that bin and actually having to process all that crap and mail it or do whatever with it. I mean, let's be honest. It goes all the way up to the top. They should have some sort of.
Well, you bring up a really good point, right? I mean, you theoretically could have a recycling program, right? Because, I mean, it would seem to me that the majority of the people that are disposable enthusiasts are running off to the shop all the time and running in and buying 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever because they want a variety. You could take that and take it to the storefront, the store owner, and say, we're going to initiate a recycling program. And so when that guy comes back in to get his new elf bars, because the other ones are belly up now and empty, they get like a little cut discount on the re-up purchase, right? So by turning in those particular disposables, they get, I don't know, whatever,
like
20 cent discount on the next elf bar for each elf bar that they buy for each one that they turn in, and then that way you incentivize people to do that kind of thing. Whereas instead of just being, well, we have a place where you can go and you can recycle your batteries, everybody's gonna be like, I'm not gonna make 2 trips to go get a new Elf bar. You know what I mean?
Well, I have a Nespresso coffee machine, and they actually will send you bags. You can add them to your order for free, and they already have the shipping label to send the pods back because they repurpose the pods. So even the manufacturers could send them when we order it, and then you can just have them, or all they have to do is put it in there, and then maybe they can get something like to their email, like a coupon or something like that.
Right.
And that way, it already has the label on it, and you just drop it off, and,
Right.
and then you get something right from the manufacturer.
Give it to the coffee people. They know what's up.
I mean, I think if you're going to do something like that, you have to make it. You have to incentivize.
Yeah,
the
as soon as they
customer.
receive it, you get an email and you get points. And when you get approved certain points,
exactly.
you get something.
And kind of put them in a position where
though.
if they, well, right, but I'm just saying incentivize them to the point where it's like you have to do this in order to get that. And at least drive an actual recycling program instead of
get
just
an Elf bar
offering
jacket like Marlboro.
Like Marlboro points.
Elf bucks.
Yeah. An Elf beanie, an Elf bar beanie. For
that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Gonna get that hat.
People would do that.
Camel.
People would do that.
Back in the days,
swag.
I don't know how many I collected of camel bucks. I mean, a shitload. And I sent back for that jacket. And this is way back. And I never got the jacket back. The dude at the post office stole the camel bucks that worked at the post office and sent them in to get a jacket. I was like, they caught him, but I didn't get nothing out of it. Camel's like, well, we can't do nothing. The post office is like, well, we fired him. I'm like, well, I'm shit out of a camel jacket. I want my camel jacket, man.
Just look how much closer I brought myself to death for a piece of merch.
Yeah, I've been collecting those camel bucks for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would be nice to see something like that, though. And you're right. It needs to start from the top. The manufacturers need to set up some sort of program, like even what you were talking about with the copy. That would be amazing. Just send out the bag to them all ready to go. So when they get 10 or 15, boom, throw it in the bag, and then the manufacturer will take care of the of whatever they're going to do with them. Put them in the landfill.
I think the only challenge you'd have at that point is that effectively, people, you've got, those labels would have to be marked or something, because I'm sure you have to identify that it's got a battery in it, right?
Yeah.
So the average Joe Schmo that is trying to return something is not going to know what regulations to follow. That's why I was thinking take it to the vape shop where you bought the stuff.
Well, yeah, they would have the process.
But then we have to ship it, and then we could run.
Yeah, they would get the bags, like she was saying, like the coffee thing. The shop would actually get the bags. They would bring them back to the shop. Then the shop would go ahead and put them so many in each bag, and then send them out to.
Then you could get into trouble. You're not supposed to be shipping anything.
You can, as long as it's on a train. Trains are the only ones. I think that's what I remember. 1-800 batteries or whatever.
No, I'm talking about the PACT Act. There could still be
the PACT Act. Well,
but
they
if
would
you're
have
returning
to give
it
away.
to the distributor,
Yeah,
I don't know. Are you really under any written for that?
There's a B2B transaction.
Allison's right though. Somehow, some way, the FDA and fucking government would somehow fucking throw it in our faces that we're
Elf bars run by a bunch of underage youths.
Yeah, we're doing something.
The CEO's only 14.
Yeah.
You can't ship those.
Yeah,
those fuckers are trying to
can't
recycle.
ship that to those kids.
Yeah,
those multi-million-dollar capitalist kids.
I finally found it. That's from my old collection of Marlboro.
Oh, the Marlboro.
There it is.
You have the Marlboro
there
one.
it is.
I still have it.
Yeah, that's like what, 30,000 packs of cigarettes right
Problem
there?
with that belt buckle is it's too small. You need a bigger one than that.
Well, you're not
You
Texas.
got to have one that's like
Texas.
softball size.
Like you just rode a bull.
Yeah, I mean, you all live in the outback and shit. You all wear cowboy boots and fucking hats and stuff.
Somebody's
Hello,
ringing my doorbell.
hello. Jehovah's Witnesses.
I don't want your watchtower.
I don't wear the hats, but no, I've always worn the boots, and like I can remember some of the belt buckles from back then. I actually have a Winston one somewhere as well, but I can't find it.
Matter of fact, you bring up the word. How is he doing? Do you guys know? I heard
David.
Yeah.
He's not doing too bad. He's just spending a lot of time down on the
Come
shore.
in, the door's open. It should be open.
Dave's not here.
Okay, hold on. I'll go unlock it. Dave's not here.
Hey, Dave, I got the stuff.
He's not.
No, Dave's not doing too bad. I'll reach out to him actually, and I'll see if I can get him.
Didn't
on the
he
show
kind of
over
openly
next
said he was walking away for a while, right? Until things changed.
Yeah, well, until the shit stops hitting the fan.
Does that ever stop?
No, but you know, Dave and I used to do a lot of shows together, and we used to have long conversations late at night here and early in the morning over there when he was on his way to lung therapy and stuff like that. And he just said to me, until we get rid of the current administration within the FDA, no one's going to have a hope in hell.
Right.
And now he got the shits even more because of the idiot that's running the FDA now and the revolving door policy. So, but no, he's doing okay, but he's spending a lot of time by the water these days and just trying to retire.
We need to get him back on the show.
I'll get him. I'll get Dave back on the show. That's not a problem.
Right. I'd like to get Mooch back on the show again too. I don't know. Batteries are still an issue, even though we don't even hear about batteries anymore. Nobody cares about batteries.
I think Molicel came out with a new cell. They came out with a new cell. So I mean, there's always new stuff that's in the pipeline. So he is still reviewing batteries, or at least testing them.
I was almost going to tell a Jehovah's Witness story, but I won't do that.
Please don't.
I'm not.
Well, when I was a kid, when the Jehovah's Witnesses used to come, I used to run around. No, I used to run around the back of the house and grab the hose and wet them. I used to spray them down.
They approached my dad one day in the front yard, and my dad has this beautiful, beautiful peach tree just full of peaches. And the guy goes up to my dad and says, God made these peaches grow in a tree. My dad turns around and looks at him and goes, no, I watered it. I planted it. I took care of it. I trimmed it. I made these peaches grow on the tree. The dude just turns around and walks away.
Get off my grass.
Get off my grass, man. Timmy, you ready for some news?
Yeah, I got one screamer of an article for you.
I can't use I can use your bumper, but
don't do the bumper. Let's say everybody.
I can't use your bumper's cleared. It's passed. It's fine. I can't use those sound effects anymore.
I didn't get an MDO on my bumper. Are you kidding me right now?
No, yeah, the clap and the applause thing, all that. Every time I use it, goes back to some site. So it's just I can't
do it for everybody. Let's
just do our own.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's do the friend one.
Hands. Right there. I don't even have any paper. I'll be honest with you. I'm running a little ragged right now. I week and a half into this new job, and it's like, meetings, and meet this person and sit with this person and learn how to do this and learn how to do that. So I kind of simplified my life, and I just brought one article. So I'm tapping. Just imagine I have paper in my hand.
Time out. You have to have some paper right there next to you.
All right, hold on.
This show does not. You can't start the new. Okay. There we go. Tap it. All
right, tap. Pretend. Welcome to the news, everybody. We got so many articles on the show now, so I can simplify my life a little bit. So I have one. It's not. Would you like me to share the article? I can share the article if you.
Hey, why don't you share that one, Tim?
I'll share it. This is actually out of News
Is it
Channel
the one you
5,
posted?
Nashville, which is about 3.5 hours north of me.
Is it the one you posted in the chat so I can put it in the?
I can grab you the link there, buddy.
Okay,
hold on one second. One
You're
thing at a time here. I'm getting old.
You're
baby
the best,
steps.
Tim.
All right,
You're the best. Hold on. Yep. You're all right. You're the man.
All right, there you go. All right. Now let me make it big. Now I apologize for the spinny wheel of death there. I can't make that guy stop doing that. So I think that's what was slowing me down before. There you go. Nicotine patches being used by researchers to stimulate memory in older adults.
Okay. I got the link.
You got it? All right, cool. Yeah, it is in the Wednesday Night Live chat.
Yeah, I got it.
So that said, we've talked about things like this before. I know this doesn't necessarily specifically address vaping in general. I guess it's a guilt by association situation. I mean, specifically, this particular research group is looking into nicotine patches as a way to study to see if it improves memory retention and function in older adults who are starting to suffer with memory loss or are getting closer to being diagnosed with Alzheimer's and things like that. So, this could prove to be a beneficial study in the sense that not only does it maybe potentially speak well to the angle of vaping in general. I think John kind of threw out like a pretty cool, funny little joke was we were talking about using this article for the show, and he said he said I vape so much at this point I should never forget anything. And he's right.
That
I
was
mean,
Allison.
was that Allison that said that? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I thought it was John responding to the.
I said I need to increase mine.
Yeah, you need. Yeah. And then all right. So and then the train ran off the tracks, and John was instructed to go get some of those delicious Elf bars. Exactly. The little birdie spoke. But it could speak volumes to the idea that. Vaping could be brought into this study in general. I mean, it is a vehicle for obtaining nicotine, and there are a lot of older people who are choosing vaping to get away from smoking, these 30, 40, 50-year smokers who are older, who are kind of in that age bracket. I mean, I don't think I don't know where we stand as 50-plussers, but I mean, I'm assuming at some point we're going to be at risk for some general memory loss. But this is News Channel 5 Nashville. Nicotine can be very addictive and is typically associated with cigarettes. They don't really mention vaping in this at all. So a group of researchers is trying to change the drug's reputation by using it to help with memory loss in the form of nicotine patches. And like I said, we've discussed this before where you can look up other sources that will state that nicotine does have some health benefits, most notably in the area of memory and things like that. I think they even use it in Parkinson's patients and things like that, and some of the studies for that. So good to see someone actually making good on a study to try to look into see if it has some net benefit to older adults.
I posted the wrong link. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Vanderbilt University, USC, and the National Institutes of Health are conducting the study, and I have another link. We'll click on it so we can kind of go over. You can click out to sign up for the study from this particular article. Are conducting the study, which involves giving nicotine patches to older adults to stimulate their memory. And so with doing a study like this, obviously there's some fear factor that can come into it, right? And I was saying earlier in our chat that, not to divulge too much information, but my father had brought up the fact that, my mom now, it's become more noticeable that she's starting to forget small details or things that happened a couple days prior. So, for example, she'll say something like, "Well, haven't we talked to Timmy or something like that?" And my dad will be like, "Yeah, we just talked to him like yesterday or something like that," and she'll forget that call happened. So I don't know if that's a symptom of something that's may be more potentially upsetting for the whole entire family, but they're both 80, so yeah. I can't expect them to have perfect memories the remainder of their years. However, after reading this, I was thinking I might suggest this to my dad and see if I can't get him to buy in and maybe think about doing it for mom just to see if it has any positive effects. But again, going back to the whole negative connotation to it all, that a lot of people think that nicotine is cancer causing or there's some byproduct effect of nicotine. I don't know what level of nicotine dosage is in a patch. I've never actually.
Well, they even say at the end of that, or part of that, it says the treatment is not addictive or cancer causing, according to researchers. So they added that right there. I get that.
Maybe that's debatable. I'm gonna guess the patches are probably at very low nicotine levels. Probably the patch that is the one that you use before you're supposed to flat out finally quit. So,
Yeah.
there's no real statement to the fact of whether or not, they're going to use different strengths of nicotine to try to see which ones perform better than others, or if they all have any kind of positive result at all. But they believe that the nicotine interacts with parts of the brain connected to memory loss and attention. They're hopeful the patches will improve brain functions. So I don't know if they tested this on mice and the mouse found the cheese faster. I gotta find out.
No, it was on actual humans. They've been doing studies in this vein for quite some time.
Right.
And Paul Newhouse, he's one of the experts on this, and he was also noted in You Don't Know Nicotine, and he was going down this pathway. He couldn't elaborate on it too much at that point when that documentary came out. But if you read his data sets, anywhere between 4 and 12 milligrams, depending on the level of dementia or memory loss.
Yeah.
The higher you go, the longer the result. But it's either a 4, 8, or 24-hour patch, depending. But they normally start them at 4 milligrams, between 2 and 4 milligrams, and see what the titration is into the body. And then if it's not enough, they'll up it to 6 or 8 milligrams. Around the 6 and 8 milligrams, they're starting to see very good results. When they get to the 12, it's mind-blowing. It's like they're waking up again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's so cool to watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that, this is something maybe people can follow or at least pay attention to. I have no idea when they expect to deliver the results of these particular tests.
You can actually join the study.
Yeah, there's a link down here. So well, it went on a little bit more, but if you want to sign up for it, you can go out to this page here, and then it gives a little bit more information, about why nicotine, what is MCI, FAQs, but they are receiving funding from the National Institutes of Health and the Mind or Memory Improvement Through Nicotine Dosing Study. Or these are the organizations that are pumping money into this to try to.
Of course they are.
Get this. Well, I mean, that's how all this stuff is done anyway. I mean, there's no nice guy that's going to be like, hey, I want to do a study on nicotine on.
Yeah. However,
dementia
nicotine does not cause cancer, heart disease, or respiratory. There you go.
Right. But they do try to calm some of the fears about nicotine because, I'm going to guess there's probably a lot of these people that would be interested in maybe looking into this study that were never smokers, never vapors, don't really engage in nicotine usage at all, and they would have general concerns over what it's doing to their body. Because there's always the commercial for the medication that you see, where it's like, hey, this is gonna make it, stand up on end, but you could die of a heart attack or suicide or something like that. There's always positives and negatives to each application. So,
well, I find it funny, like reading both pages now, the first one that you have and then the one that you click to this one, they don't talk about all the things that come up when you talk about vaping. You brought up the hard on. That one was like a big issue with us. And I hate using that word, but I didn't know what other word to use at that time. But and all the other stuff that always comes up when you discuss vaping, but yet none of that is here. They don't talk about the potential of not getting that, your teeth falling out, all this other nonsense. But they made sure it was in. I mean, if you look at it, it's highlighted in bold print the fact that nicotine doesn't cause cancer or heart disease. But that's. This is a great study, though, people, because I kind of went a little bit into. It wasn't this study, but it was a little bit of a different study that Sutter Health was doing here in California for people with dementia. But I was going to have my dad start this, but he was just too far along for it to be something that we could consider doing for him. But it's actually, I've heard a lot of great positive things about it, especially if you're in the early stages of dementia or Alzheimer's.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk to my dad about it, because it doesn't sound like, my dad's just, obviously with my mother all the time. And, and if he's constantly having to help her recall particular things because she has forgotten about it within 24 to 48 hours or something like that, it obviously, it's at a point right now where this might be beneficial just to see if it doesn't help, and that's why I would recommend it to my dad.
Heck yeah.
It's not invasive. It's just a patch. You know, and if there's any adverse effects to, you know, her using the patch, they can just abandon the whole thing. But, you know,
she may just wake up one morning and just clean the whole fucking house like a crazy person. You never know.
I'm pretty sure well, they live in a much smaller, little condo type situation now.
It's
But
funny how everyone just reacts differently to nicotine and caffeine. You can just be a whole different mom.
Right. But I can certainly see my dad being like, well, I don't know, is that safe and stuff like that? And you know, and I can, you know, offer some, you know, consoling to the idea that, you know, she's not really at risk of any particular side effect that is disease causing in general. It's the whole idea that you've noticed that mom is acting a certain way, and this is a study to generate some results. So, I mean, what can it hurt? They probably,
I mean, it's not like she's going to wake up and just go buy a pack of cigarettes. I mean, it's not.
maybe they'll ship you off free patches or whatever. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, this has been going on for a long, long time, and even my mother, she's now in a nursing home with dementia, and they offered her to go down this pathway, and she wouldn't do it because she turned around. She said, "No, I'll start smoking." And I said, "You won't start smoking."
Yeah.
Geez, you know, we're trying to help you here, but she didn't understand. She was already too far gone by that time. But this has been going on for a long time, and I've been looking at a lot of Newhouse's studies and some of his colleagues, and the results are astounding. It's like that. It's very similar to me to the Robin Williams movie Awakenings, when he was using like the drugs to bring people around from their states of like almost.
They were catatonic almost.
Catatonic,
yeah. But he was bringing them back,
and
then when they actually figured out the science behind it and the dosages properly, it worked. It worked very, very well. This is exactly the same type situation. And you look at a lot of the older people that was like heavy smokers when they were younger, and they gave up later in life. They started petering off. Then their doctors have been saying, well, just slap a patch on. You'll be okay. It won't cause you any problems. It won't want you to go back to smoking. And they've kept their memory a little bit better for a lot longer. And
anything would help.
Very smart. No, look, I'm all for this.
Yeah, me too.
I know the benefits of nicotine in the mind. We're born with nicotine receptors. Why? Because it's in our foods, it's in our vegetables, it's naturally occurring. But if you go down this pathway, and it can even reset part of your mindset or part of your brain back to a point, and you've got that little bit of extra in you going forward, I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think everyone should consider this as if they have a parent or somebody in their family that is suffering from some memory loss issues. This might be, worth a try. At least you're doing something. And I think, again, I go back to my original statement where I said that this could somehow tether into the vaping argument. Whereas all they like to talk about is how addictive it is and how horrible it is, and it's going to stunt growth and brain development and all this other stuff. I mean, but we're not talking about 50 milligram, Juul pods popping off the shelf. We're talking about standardized, FDA authorized products that are on the shelf that anybody can obtain, that are designed as a smoking cessation tool. So, why not? Why not try it and just see if it improves the quality of life for people that you love?
Hey, Paul, it's still quicker to get into your system by vaping it than it is with the patch, though, right? Which is quicker?
Well, the two quickest is smoking 1, vaping 2, And,
Oh yeah, smoking. We're taking smoking out of the equation.
Okay. Well, vaping and long dose transdermal patches. They're the third one to that. Sorry, second one before that would have to be the little wafers, the Nicorette wafers that you put under your tongue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're probably they're the quickest. But yeah, vaping is still number one. They'd be the second one. Three would be the quick mist, and fourth, gum doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, it works, but not. But
It's
transdermal-
disgusting. God, that gum is
Oh.
disgusting, man.
Oh,
What happened to the toothpicks? The toothpicks died away. I thought are they still around?
No, they're still around, but not in the same quantity as they used to be. But then
We had
long
that
range-
story, right, guys?
Yeah,
Allie has that story. Allie,
gummies as well. But
Allie, you got that one ready to go? We could talk about that.
pull that one up.
yeah, but
Yeah, I forgot all about the gummies.
well, someone even said I didn't even know they existed. Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
I'm like,
They've been around for a long time.
I told Tim I didn't know until this
I was
morning.
today days old. I'm like, what the fuck? Nicotine gummies.
Yeah,
What's this world coming to?
Damn gummies. No.
Yeah.
Also, this study that we're talking about now is actually available in a lot of different states.
Yeah.
There actually is one in Georgia as well, at the Augusta University. I don't know how far that is, but
I think it's about an hour plus from here or something like that. They are stating that you need a study partner and somebody who can go to you to the visits. So you do have to appear somewhere to be part of the study. So that might throw some people out just because where you have to go isn't near where you are. Although why I mean they're doing telemedical crap nowadays. Why do you have to appear in person? Why can't you just do it over your iPad?
They love to do those pre-vital tests first. They want to check your heart rate.
Yeah, you might be able to for follow-ups.
Yeah. They got to make their $75, Tim.
Of course, yeah. There has to be a copay involved with all of this. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Wasn't really necessarily vaping related, but nicotine's nicotine, right?
Nicotine's nicotine, baby.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
And Allison's got it in gummy form.
Oh boy, the new public health crisis waiting to happen. The nicotine gummies that nobody's heard of.
those funky colors, and I'm sure they have some unique names to them too.
Fruit flavors. God.
Peachy Bear.
No, one of them's called pineapple. How dare they?
Oh man, that's drawing the line right there for us pizza people.
Well, and it's funny because they quote Greg Connolly here saying the FDA has taken down a product that 23 people in the U.S. use regularly.
We'll show you.
It's funny because when they did release the warning letters, they had already been removed from the market.
Yeah.
So.
Where would you buy those? I've never even seen them in a store or a shop.
They're by a company called Crave. I'm sure they're not the only ones that make them. Crave with a K.
Of course.
But, they are 1 milligram each, so watch out. They're a box of 12.
One.
So
ooh. That's like when you make that big mistake with those real gummy bears.
I'm just gonna eat the whole fucking bag.
I eat the whole bag. Am I gonna trip out or what?
Just leading to obesity in the process. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, and he, and Jim states in the article that FDA approved nicotine gum and lozenges made by pharmaceutical companies are sold over the counter, and they contain more nicotine than these gummies.
Than the gummies.
And they actually come in more attractive flavors and sold in larger quantities. So.
Yeah, but we don't like flavors, though.
Yeah, see, where they fucked up is they made them look like gummy bears. They should have just, made them like a car,
like Monopoly,
a checkbook,
Monopoly game pieces.
Like we talked about with the names. They should have made them objects that kids are not attracted to, checkbook. Right. Job symbol.
Little pieces of poop.
Yeah, little pieces of poop.
So Of course, the Truth Initiative.
Yeah.
Glad to see the swift action from the FDA to remove these from the market because no one's using them. Nicotine gummies are a public health crisis just
Oh my
waiting to
God.
happen.
Oh,
Yeah. Among our nation's youth, said Caleb. We want parents to be aware of these products and their potential for health consequences of children of all ages.
Yeah.
So
Those
scary.
those
Well,
gummies.
let me
those
tell
gu-
you what, if you find a kid in high school with a gummy, I can guarantee you it don't have
It's
nicotine in it.
not.
No,
It's not.
no,
Just like
it's
the vape
not.
weren't nicotine.
It's probably
Yeah.
30 milligram, you know,
Greenery.
THC.
I
Yeah.
always worried about, I'll be honest here. I don't have the kids at home anymore, but if I were doing those gummies, I would be so afraid of making that mistake with my kids and actually, putting them in their lunch bag. That would just ruin that poor kid's whole friggin' day.
You wouldn't.
But
You
you know what I
wouldn't.
mean?
I would
And
hope
they,
you'd
they
keep
look.
those in a separate area than
Yeah,
the
I
standard
you'd have a
gummies.
couple on
Yeah.
the counter, by accident. That's what I'm saying. Shit happens when you're a parent. You have 1,000 things going on. I remember just making lunch for 3 kids. Took me like 45 friggin' minutes because I had to remember who didn't want a banana, who wanted an apple. I remember who doesn't like peanut butter, who does like peanut butter,
Who
who
doesn't
wants
like THC gummies?
yeah, who doesn't want THC gummies in their fucking lunch? Who wants a juice box? Who's got to be at the dentist at 3:00? You got all this shit going on. You might accidentally grab those
No,
gummies.
I mean, no, but I have them. I don't have THC because I live in South Carolina, but we do
Yeah.
get a lot of Delta 8 samples because we carry that in all of our
Yeah.
stores.
Yeah.
And I'm forced to take them home and try them just to see how they are.
No way.
Super hard job. So
Can you please pick up your son, Mr. Truncali?
oh my God, I think he's
Your
freaked out.
son's tripping out on the world
I
of the
honestly don't like them. I don't like how edibles make me feel. I'd prefer to use a Delta 8 vape device just because I can control the amount that I'm getting. Gummies
Right.
kind of have this way of like sneaking back up on me when I think they're gone. But I definitely keep them locked up. They're
Locked
not
up.
gonna get mixed up with anything else.
All right. Maybe it's just me.
Your kids probably had a lot of fun growing up, though.
No, they didn't. They couldn't wait to get out of
John's
my kids couldn't
eyesight's
wait.
pretty bad, so he's probably got them in like 2 jars in the pantry. And one says not for the kids, and then the other one says for the kids. And then his eyes deceive him, and he grabs the wrong jar that morning. Yep, and then opens up the kids at lunch, opens up his little Spidey lunchbox. Next thing you know,
I was an easygoing dad.
Next thing you
Our
know, he's
class takes on a
discussing
whole new
quantum
meaning.
physics with his his second grade art teacher.
My thing was, hey, just show up at school. That's all you got to do. Just show
all you
up
gotta
and
do.
be there. Just be there. That's it. That's all I ask of you. Just be
Yeah,
there.
exactly. My jar says Dave's not here.
Yeah.
I got the stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Bueller.
He was obviously high back in that day.
No, it's been since 1991. I haven't touched any marijuana. Yeah, I was the day my son was born, and I saw him being born, and I said, "That's time to grow up." And I never touched this stuff again.
Got to be an adult.
Yeah, it's time to be a papa. Yeah. The kid will do that to you.
I haven't had a gummy in a while.
I won't tell you the other stories behind all that. No, that's for the Friday Night BS show. We'll talk about that later.
So while I was on my job trip the other day, I actually made my second trip into an actual live vape shop.
Ooh.
Not my normal routing path, but being that I was traveling light. I took my Caliburn with me, and I was so freaking pissed off. And the guts from the you know how you can pop the cap off and refill it. Well, the guts inside here had fallen out, and then the tabs had snapped on it, and so you're trying to grab a vape, and then the cap was sticking to my lip, and it was always hitting the ground. I was having to chase the cap around, and I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know. I mean, I'm pressing it against my teeth just to keep the top on the damn thing, and it just kept falling off all the time. So I'm like, well, let me Google vape shops, and literally there was one not 30 steps from the building I was working at.
Oh shit!
And I have to admit, I'm usually a very confident, outgoing person. I've never been more nervous in my entire life. Having to walk in that vape shop, I got shit along the wall over here that would, put most people's collection to shame. I got Addies, tanks, cotton. I got all this stuff. And I walk in that vape shop, and I swear it was like being 4 and going and seeing Santa for the first time in your life.
It's
Like I literally
feeling.
was like almost, word salad was going to come out. You know what I mean? And all I needed to ask for was just Caliburn G vape pods. That's all I needed. And it was just, for me, it was just sort of an out of body experience, but I got through, and then
got through it.
And then when the markup hit me at the cash register, I realized exactly where I was standing. So no harm, no foul. The girl came through, she saved my crisis, and I was able to move on.
Took care of you in a pinch. That's what the vape shop's for, really, to take care of you in a
And
pinch.
thank God for them. I mean, I really that was sort of like the epiphany.
Did you tell them how famous you were? You could have got a discount.
Yeah, I did. I walked in there, chest out, chin up.
You should have said, "Hey, you should be streaming
Hi,
the Wednesday night live show
Tim.
in
I'm
your
from a
vape
very
shop."
famous vape advocacy show on YouTube
No,
called
you
Wednesday
should have
Night
told
Live
them they
Show.
need to
I'm
stream
sure
the
you've heard
show.
of me. That's
Tim Swift, no relation to Taylor Swift.
That's how I kind of overcame the nerves. I just kind of let my ego take control.
I'm the same way in the new shop. Like my shops here, I'm no big deal. They know who I am. I walk in. But when I went to the one in Fairfield for the first time, I felt uncomfortable and weird. Again, I felt old. You felt old, right?
Yeah, that's
You
kind of
felt old.
that's how it felt.
And you
And to
shouldn't
be
feel
honest,
that.
I was nervous
Yeah.
because I hear all you guys talk on the show, or people come on and they're guests on the show, and they talk about going to the vape shop and they're loaded with nothing but disposables. And I kind of thought that's what I was going to walk into. Like, I'm going to walk in and ask for like Caliburn G pods and go, "Nah, sorry, we don't carry those." No, but we got some elf bars back here if you're interested in that.
No, we carry everything.
No, I know. I'm joking.
It's localized.
Hot in the streets right now.
Yeah, it's localized because that's what I've noticed. Because like here in Modesto, we do have a lot of rebuildables here, and a lot of tanks and stuff like that. And then when I went to Fairfield, it was a little bit more of the disposable. There wasn't any rebuildables there at all. There was maybe 1 or 2 tanks they had. They had all Geek Vape stuff. There was nothing other than Geek Vape in there. And then there's some shops that you walk in and all you see is, what do you call it? The one that we never got the right name for.
Well, this shop seemed rather. It was called Vape something like Vape Tornado, or I don't know. It was some catchy little name. But as I walked up to the door, you could see that they weren't just specifically targeted to only vaping. It was a smoke shop as well. So there's a bit of a head shop, vibe going on to it. I'm sure the Delta stuff was in there. To be honest with you, I was kind of so nervous at that point that I didn't even really take a visual inventory of like what was in front of me.
Did you look at the juice supply? Was it pretty good?
You know what, dude? I zoned out. I was like, just get in, get your vape pods and get out. You know what I mean? So
we carry everything, and we have a juice bar. So when you go in, you can actually have custom-made juices made at our juice bar. But we carry a little bit of everything. And most people that do come in, they'll buy both. They'll buy their coils, they'll buy their juice, and then they'll buy a disposable. Because they can take it to work, and they can go hide in the bathroom and have a little quick vape, and it doesn't blow out a huge cloud. And the higher milligrams seems to sustain them longer when they're at work, so they don't have to go and do it as frequently.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless you're an Apple employee and you fill out a petition that you don't want to go back to work and stay at home and get paid.
I've never had one single day of being at home.
Maybe we should all start doing that.
What's that like?
I'm going to send a petition, get everybody at work together. Hey, guys, I don't want to go to work anymore. I want to stay at home and do my job. But you're a warehouse supervisor. That's all right. I just don't want to be at work anymore.
Just put a bunch of camera in. I'll supervise.
I'll tell you where to move that stuff.
I would have just sat in my office all day anyway. What's the difference?
I would have just sat in my air conditioning.
I'm not going to go out on the warehouse floor. Are you crazy?
Yeah, it's hot
I can't get these new Chucks dirty. God, no, it's like $60.
Just put a little monitor on each of the forklifts and run Zoom. I can see what you're doing, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm running my metrics back here. Don't you worry about what I'm doing.
I know the show's almost over, but can you imagine that the companies flip it on them and say, well, okay, you know what? You want to work at home, but we want our own camera there. We want to see what you're doing all day.
I wouldn't surprise me if they don't do that. They send you home with an asset tagged camera
Camera
that they
following
can monitor you.
I'd be in the bathtub with a margarita. Like, is this appropriate?
you get an email like 10 minutes later. Why did you spend 15 minutes in the bathroom?
The email starts out, Allison, we appreciate your attire for the meeting, but we wanted to point out that we don't think a Cartier goes well in a bathtub.
Jeez. I
How much did you drink?
You
were almost drowning. Like,
I can see Apple flipping it on them,
and we highly recommend that you don't leave your curling iron plugged in while it's on the edge of the bathtub.
Yeah, we'll see how comfortable they would actually feel, because like my cousin's been doing it now for about 3 years now, since COVID started, so almost 3 years. He loves it. He doesn't have. He used to have a 45-minute ride to work and 45 minutes back. He doesn't have to do that. He's got no more wear and tear on his car, and he's a purchaser, so he can do what he does at home.
Yep.
And he loves it, but he's one of those guys that gets up at 7:30 in the morning and gets his cup of coffee, sits at the dining room table, doesn't move till 11:45, to take lunch.
That's rare though.
Yeah, it's very rare. So I mean, they're not all like that. I can see a couple guys going, well, you know what? Maybe I could cut the lawn real quick right now, and then come back to this. Or hey, I could run to the store and go get this. Or one of the kids, I could see them doing that and getting away. And I can understand how companies can feel like, hey, we're getting screwed here. You're not really putting 8 hours in anymore. You're doing the dishes. We saw you cooking dinner. We saw you had company over. You guys drank 4 bottles of wine while you were. I personally, well, Tim, you have done it. You have worked from home.
I'm doing it now.
You're doing it now. But do you feel like, Allison? Do you feel like you're somebody that could?
I can totally. I have like my exact setup on my computer that I have at work. I do a lot of Photoshop work. I can access everything from the stores if I have to, do anything with inventory. So I could do it, but I mean,
do you have the dedication? That's what I'm saying. I know you can do it, but are you the person that's going to get up like you're still going to work?
I'm OCD, so when you put a project in front of me, I do it really fast. And then a lot of the times, even at work, I'm just kind of like, well, what's going on Twitter? Like I have a lot of free time, but my work's done like 3 weeks in advance. Like I have stuff done before product even comes into the building. It's already in the system and ready to go. So I do work, but I think that I would definitely take advantage. I mean, you're home. You would want to do stuff around the house. Yeah,
I do. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, you have to, it really comes down to the individual. I can see how some might be enticed to sort of fuck off all day because they just get this luxury in front of them. But I think if you're autonomous and a self-starter and able to learn how to manage your time, and as long as you're achieving your goals and getting those tasks done that are put in front of you, it's okay to get up and then go water the plants and be like, oh shit, let me go start a load of laundry. I mean, you're not really eating into too much of your day with standardized stuff that kind of gets in the way. And trust me, even the boss person who's like, okay, we'll agree to allow you to work from home, they're doing the exact same shit that you're doing. They're taking the dog for a walk and friggin' having a little chat with Kathy next door for 10 minutes.
I also have to say though, like my boss is really cool. Like everybody that works at the warehouse has been with the company. I've been with the company for almost 10 years. Like everybody else has been there almost as long as I have. We have a 75-inch TV mounted on the wall. We watch Catfish all day. Like we literally have like, it's so, and it's fun. Like I like the people I work with, so it's easy for me.
I mean, I've never been in an Apple building. I don't know how much they actually are working through an 8-hour day in there, but I'm sure they're not, like we're saying, they're not getting up to go do laundry. You can't do that at the office.
Right.
I mean, but I'm sure there's plenty of free time that is being wasted at work while you're there. The copy machine, the water cooler, the fucking
people goof off at the office as much. They're just doing different things to waste time.
Yeah. I mean, I wear a lot of hats at work, and I think we all do. All the people that work there have taken on a lot of responsibilities, but as long as all my stuff's done, nobody cares.
Yeah. So Apple employees, get your ass back to work.
Slackers.
You damn $80,000 a year employees, get your ass back to work.
Yep.
80? What? You can get 80 grand a year at Apple?
Oh, I'm sure some of those guys are riding that 75K to 110K a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
Apple
don't
only
call it a
hires the
genius bar
best.
for
They only
nothing.
hire the best at Apple. They only hire the best at Apple. Don't you want to
No,
work in that
no.
circular building? I would just want to just go around in a circle all day. Just I can't find my office. Son of a bitch. Keep going around in circles. I would totally do that just to piss off everybody that worked there. I keep going around in circles, man. I can't find my office. We are done. We're out of here. Great show. Anything else? You guys, anybody have anything they want to get off their chest? No? Good. All right. Beautiful. I love that. I love when that happens. We'll see everybody next week, next Wednesday. We may or do we have a special guest next week?
Yes,
We do.
Jared
Jared.
DeVar,
Yeah.
the USBA lawyer that just had the victory in the 11th Circuit, is going to come and talk about what the win means and what's next.
What's next?
Right on.
Right on. Right. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah.
And that is it for us. Paul, thank you. Allison, thank you. Tim, thank you. And
guys.
we'll see everybody next week. And let me make sure I push the right thing here. I don't know which one. I don't know which one it is anymore.